Today we'll be talking about a manga that was based on a real crime. The title of this manga is on screen now. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it, so I'm just going to call it Shin. Now, I have some very strong opinions on this manga that we will get into a little later, but for now I'm going to describe this manga, and before we do that, huge trigger warning here, and I mean massive trigger warning. This manga has a lot of touchy things, but with that out of the way, let's talk about Shin. Now, this really isn't my area of expertise, so please excuse me if I get anything wrong here, but this manga Shin was based on a real crime that happened in Japan, an absolutely disgusting and horrible crime, the murder of Junko. I'm going to give a very quick rundown on this crime. If you want to know more about it, you can look it up on YouTube because there is a ton of videos going over this case, but to keep it as simple as possible, Junko was a Japanese female high school student who was abducted, R-word, tortured, and murdered. This took place in the late 80s. This crime lasted 40 days and was carried out by 4 teenage boys. Now that's basically a really rough summary of this crime. Let's get into talking about the manga now. The manga we have been calling Shin essentially depicts this case or crime very accurately, and I want to say very graphically as well. I mean, they don't pull any punches and show pretty much everything. I think it's about 70 pages long, and I have to say it was probably the hardest piece of literature for me to get through, and I cannot stress this enough. Do not, and I mean do not, read this manga. It's disgusting and very graphic. On YouTube here, I don't think I can necessarily describe like anything about this manga, and I know that doesn't really do the video justice and doesn't really do the manga justice, which I don't think we have to do the manga justice, and we'll talk about my opinions a little later here. But yeah, I can't really describe it. Essentially, it is like a 1-for-1 of the crime that happened, and it shows everything. And when I say everything, I mean like literally everything, and it's really disgusting. And honestly, I'm kind of scared for this video because I usually use the manga panels for the background, and in all honesty, there's probably like 10 manga panels I can use for the background. So if we go from manga panels to just a normal background video, that's why. But like with all that out of the way, let's get into my opinions. This manga is absolutely fucking disgusting. Like 110% should not have been made at all. And the fact that it is based on a real crime and it depicts the crime so accurately is disgusting to me. Like personally, I'm a huge fan of horror. Like DeadTube is probably my favorite manga, but you have to draw a line somewhere. And for me, fictional gore and horror is fine. But when you start to take real life crimes and depicting those in your manga, that's stepping over the line for me, because personally, I think the author is basically glorifying this crime and profiting off the sale of this manga, and that's just a terrible thing. I'm a person who advocates for no censorship and no banning of media or literature at that, but I'm not saying this manga should be banned, but what I am saying is the author is a dickhead for making it. Final thoughts to wrap this video up: this manga is terrible and should not have been made. Once again, the author is a dickhead, and please do not read it because it is not for the faint of heart. And that's about it. Let me know your thoughts on this video down in the comments. Also check the description for all my links, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Later.